All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We're dropping frames. My frames. See what I can do about that real quick. We're getting ready. We're outside Mar-A-Lago, waiting for the press briefing on the strikes in Venezuela and the snatch and grab operation that was conducted last night by the United States Special Forces. We're right outside. We watched it last night. We were up late. And we were up early. We're both. We're here. Mixed reactions online. A lot of different reactions. I haven't seen a lot of congressmen coming out and saying this is the best thing ever. Even crazy ass, lunatic ass Mike Lee was like looking forward to seeing the justification for bypassing Congress. Which is huge coming from his mouth. That guy who called NATO a threat to national security. I kid you not. He said that. NATO. Not NATO, NATO. As American Honduran living in Honduras, glad Maduro is out by any means necessary. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of mixed emotions. Like to focus a little more on that by any means necessary. Bypassing Congress though, bad. So we gotta see how this is gonna work. Standing by for more live. I'm gonna get a backup feed. AP's always been good. I'm gonna find another backup feed while we wait. The press briefing is scheduled for 8 minutes away. We'll see if they're transitioning over at that point. I'll just find a backup one. Thanks for being here. Hit the like, subscribe if you haven't. We're sharing. My frames keep dropping into the red. I think I'm doing everything I can. Sometimes it throttles. For no good reason at any time. It should balance out. Let me see if I can. There we go. Maybe that'll help. Just adjusting my bit rate a little bit. It doesn't have to be super high for a live stream. I'm not streaming video games. It still throttles down to 1800. Let me check how terrible it is. Yeah, it looks like it's all right. A little bit here and there. All right, let me find a backup stream. Just want to find a backup feed in case maybe the sound sucks or whatever else. Hope everybody's doing good this morning. I was seeing some cheering in Venezuela, so there are definitely some Venezuelan people who are happy about it. The real thing that's sticking out here is the legality behind the strikes. Did he play by the rules? Hey Pyro, how you doing? Good morning, good morning. Rod, hello. Yeah, yes, we're getting ready for the POTUS speech right now. Well, if it is POTUS, it should be, I'd imagine, for Mar-A-Lago. But yes, we're getting ready. It's scheduled in 5 minutes. I'm looking for a backup feed in case AP for some reason glitches out. Usually they're pretty solid. but we covered it last night. We were watching the bombs. We were listening to the machine gun fire, people's reactions. We saw some of the debris. You know, it looked like a very surgical strike. A lot of people, there were some people saying that it looked like an exit, like they were done with the operation, which I am starting to agree with. I think by the time anybody realized there was a strike, it was already over. So I either the troops came in on a hey-ho or a halo jump, came in and got a unit together, went in and captured, or 2 units, couple units, went in and captured, and then the helicopters came in for support, picked everybody off and took up, or just a good old-fashioned snatch and grab. And I called that when I saw, right off the bat, when we saw the Chinooks in the air. I was like, wait, Chinooks, if they were just doing a bombing run and taking out facilities, they would have jets doing it. Why do they have Chinooks? I'm like, oh, they've got boots on the ground. 100%. I was 99.9% sure 10 minutes into the stream that they had boots on the ground, because Chinooks, they had Apache helicopters and most likely little birds. I didn't see any little birds, but I saw definitely Apache attack helicopters and Chinooks. So that's what led me to believe that there was boots on the ground. Most of my chat agreed. 75% went through up a pole, and it turned out there was. And they grabbed Maduro. They snatched his ass up. They actually grabbed him. Nice and sunny over in Florida. Jeez. Okay, let's see if I can find. Filter it. Yeah, I cut into my DayZ time last night. I'm a little salty about that, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, I was a little salty about that. I wanted to play some DayZ last night. I got my mushroom coffee too, guys. Good morning, Gene. I got that Rise mushroom coffee that's been dominating everybody's freaking feed on Facebook and other apps. The marketing worked, and so far it's actually really good. Rise mushroom coffee. I'm not sponsored by it. I would, at this point, 4 days into drinking it, I probably would. It's really good, actually. It's earthy, so you gotta like mushrooms. But it has a nice frap to it, so it's kind of like a mushroom frappe coffee latte. It's okay. Not bad. All right, let me see if I can find that back up. I'm getting distracted here.
Promised big and has delivered even bigger. On the economic front, after inheriting the worst inflation crisis in over 4 decades, President...
That is an old feed. We're not going to play that BS. You really got to be careful on the live feed. So many claim to be live and yet loop old shit. That we don't like that. We don't like that fake stuff here in these parts around here. How's everybody doing today? Yeah, I was checking some of the reactions too, and I've got additional information being sent to me too. We'll cover. At some point, I really wanted to cover Iran because Iran's cracking off too, but then all of a sudden we had to go snatch and grab Maduro. JD Vance PSA and PSA for everyone saying this was illegal. Maduro has multiple indictments in the United States for narco-terrorism. You don't get to avoid justice for trafficking in the United States because you live in a place in Caracas. Didn't he just release the Honduran or the last president that was Narco terrorist? This doesn't justify bypassing Congress, this statement. This just makes them look dumb. This means they're guilty. Interesting. Rumor that he's going to leave the vice president in power. Were they trying to snatch and grab him too? Interesting. Don't be surprised if you see Maduro having lunch with Putin tomorrow. There was I got sent flight radar last night. We were watching a airplane take off from Venezuela to Moscow. It was an Airbus. Airbus is usually, I'm leaning towards normal operations. I've flown on an Airbus. I doubt you're gonna see high profiler going on an Airbus. Those things are scary as fuck. They shake. They shake and they get delayed because the computers are so old. Alright, Washington Post has a feed too, looks like. God, they're sketch though. I'm always concerned about restreaming them. If I have to, I will, but they've got a feed. So we'll keep that up. We're going to watch Associated Press for now. It's 8:02. I'll keep a couple feeds up, but this should transition over to the press briefing any minute. Going over some feeds here. Looks like Governor Newsom's press office is already on it. Dear Donald Trump, thank you for submitting your application to the Nobel Peace Prize Committee. While we review your very peaceful attack on Venezuela, we suggest you apply to the International Court at The Hague. We believe you're exactly who they're looking for. Damn. He hangs up a statement. It's called Peace Through Strength. After this disastrous years of Biden, where America was woke, weak, and in retreat, President Trump and the Department of War are reestablishing deterrence. We will never back down. Merck's on it. Merck's on the case. Yeah, right here. All right, let's see what's going on. Mike Lee just got off the phone with Secretary Rubio. He informed me that Nicolas Maduro has been arrested by U.S. personnel to stand trial on criminal charges in the United States, and that the kinetic action we saw tonight was deployed to protect and defend those executing the arrest warrant. This action likely falls within the president's inherent authority under Article 2 of the Constitution to protect U.S. personnel from an attack or imminent attack. What? Not if we initiated it. How did... Yeah, this is what he posted 7 hours ago. I look forward to learning what, if anything, might constitutionally justify this action in the absence of a declaration of war or authorization for the use of military force. It took him 2 hours to fucking... He's such a loser. What a loser. No, all right, here we go. All right. I see stuff happening. We're inside the press room, guys. Got the music.
Let me just check the camera. Let me just check that. Okay, thank you.
Guys, hit the like. Share out the stream if you could, please. We're covering the press conference on the capture of Maduro from Mar-A-Lago. Hit the like if you could, guys. Share it out. I know it's early. I'm not expecting a huge stream, but Yeah, it sounds like Rubio is coming out and saying that they're going to stay on trial in the United States. So I don't think they went to Moscow. Somebody went to Moscow, but it wasn't them. How's the stream? How's the stream, guys? Coming up smooth now? Was the V? I don't know. I don't know if the VP was spotted in Moscow. It wouldn't surprise me, Razin. I know the Russians are furious, so that part makes me happy. Just the method that they did this. I want to see the legality. I want to see the legality behind this. I was watching Venezuelans celebrate earlier. I'm not going to say that didn't happen either. So there's definitely some Venezuelans that are extremely happy for this, and a lot of people. I mean, I didn't like Maduro, right? I got nothing nice to say about the guy, but there's reasons we have rules, whether or not they were followed. That's yet to be determined. Don't worry, guys. It's only the third day into the new year. So far, Moscow continues to strike Ukraine. Ukraine's shifted its leadership. We have an invasion of Venezuela with a snatch and grab of the president. What else am I forgetting? More in 3 days. Merc's up. Merc is up already? Holy cow. Holy cow, he's trooping it out too. I know he was up later than me. I know he was up way late. He must have not have slept. I went to bed. I went to bed right before they said they captured Maduro. I'm like, oh, well, I don't see nothing, guys. Going to sleep. Okay. And then 30 seconds later, I get a freaking message in Discord. They got Maduro. I'm like, I have to prioritize sleep. I'm trying to healthy living. Healthy living. Mushroom coffee. Oh yeah, that story of they swindled in a fake assassination attempt $500,000 from Russia. That's beautiful. It's shicey and I love it. Nothing like a staged assassination attempts to really get you in the tone for the rest of the year.
This is okay.
Now Budanov's going to be the head of the presidency department in Ukraine too. So that's major news. We all like Budanov. Joe, I got time to go get more coffee.
I can't believe they got us in there this quickly. Yeah. The hotel took here and we're all set up. I thought this was
Needs the hot water. I'm up early. I need 10 seconds. I'll be right back.
Those are really wide-angle lenses, and if the two of you move forward, you'll be in the shot as the man in the white also. The farther y'all press forward, the more you're going to be in these shots. They're super wide-angle.
Thanks, Julio. Thank you.
Oh, it's for AZ? Oh, no, it's that.
Nothing for Alex.
It's for Alex. We kick it over.
All right, I made it. Oof.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is that coffee I was telling you about, the Rise mushroom coffee. So far, it's working pretty well. Give the liver a little bit of a break.
Just a handheld camera testing.
Yeah, it's 8 a.m. over here. So I am up early. I was up at 6:30, prepping to get ready for this. But we covered it last night, so I had to cover it this morning too. You know, I was planning to cover Iran today, which I still might do later, or maybe I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Press briefing. I really want to play some DayZ, and I gotta do laundry. It's my only day off. We got a lot going on today. It does taste like mushrooms. It tastes very earthy, but it has a really, it has almost like a mocha hint to it. A really frothiness to it. It is pricey though. I mean, one bag's like $43, but it should last a month.
Peter, how do you feel about that?
Allegedly, it's really good for your gut health
Fine with that.
and liver, which is my primary focus for this year. It is caffeinated lightly. I don't know how light. Got Rise Super 6 Mushroom Blend, Reishi, King Trumpet, Shiitake, Turkey Tail, Lion's Mane, Organic, Prebiotic blend, Acacia Fiber, Inulin Fiber, Tapioca Fiber. Caffeine content's 48 milligrams, so one scoop is probably, that's like half a cup of coffee. So it's like half the amount of caffeine as coffee. Hey, Cypher. See if I can find that live feed earlier.
Let me get this straight. I catch my 13.
They're always late in Mar-A-Lago. Oh, the live celebration in Honduras seems to have disappeared, but there was one for sure. It looked like it was like near a gas station or some shit. Everybody's up and reporting now. Jeez Louise. You think this was an important topic or something? Magic mushroom coffee? My God. Yeah, I remember back in the day. Reggae on the River, 2000. I don't remember much. I remember it was fun. The schnozberries tasted like schnozberries. Epic. We should have done a poll whether or not Trump shows up on time, making the American people wait. Back to the music while we wait. Live shot of Russian air defense protecting Caracas. That's funny. Oh god, that was pretty funny. That was a good one. Oh shit. Adam Kissinger is even hitting him. Hey Russia, look what our military can do versus yours. Dang, Adam. All right. AOC is hitting it. It's not about drugs. If it was, Trump wouldn't have pardoned one of the largest narco traffickers in the world last month. Facts. Facts. It's about oil and regime change. And they need a trial to pretend that it isn't, especially to distract from Epstein, plus skyrocketing health care costs. Get a like for that one. Get a like from that one, AOC. Even Elon Musk is retweeting Rubio. Marco Rubio, Maduro is not the president of Venezuela, and his regime is not the legitimate government. Maduro is the head of the Cartel de los Soles, a narco-terror organization which has taken possession of a country. And he is under indictment for pushing drugs into the United States. I mean, the election was stolen, right? He's not wrong, right? I don't think he would really give a shit if it wasn't for the BP contracts that were interrupted. British Petroleum contracts. And also, I believe it was, I don't think it was Shell. There was another contract that was interrupted too. It was a United States oil company as well as BP, I believe. Anonymous post. Venezuela opposition reports the so-called capture of Maduro was a negotiated deal between Maduro and the U.S. for an agreed exit strategy. We reported in November that it would be the case. The U.S. bombed Venezuela's service members as part of a death theater. November postings from Anonymous. Maduro likely already has purchased property in Dubai to retire. He'll hand over oil rights contracts to the U.S. Resource Corps oligarchs and billions to the Trump family laundered through third parties. The threat of invasion is basically a shakedown to ensure he provides more loot. If anything does get bombed in Venezuela, it'll be a death theater to help legitimize the deal. Venezuelans will pay the check. Maduro is ready to cash. A large sum of the national wealth for Venezuela has already been transferred out of the country by Trump's allies in Russia. Russia. Interesting. That was written back in November 7th. That was written back in November 7th. Anonymous post. Oh, thank you, D. Thank you. What we got here? We got a scandal. A newly created Polymarket account invested over $30,000 yesterday in Maduro's exit. The U.S. then took Maduro into custody overnight, and the trader profited $400,000 in less than 24 hours. Insider trading is not allowed on prediction markets. It's encouraged.
Thanks, Julio.
It's primarily an issue for walkout.
Some war-related insider trading. A brand new account in Polymarket only invested in U.S. going to war with Venezuela and Maduro out by January 31st. Up to 13K so far was spending thousands on Maduro out at bargain prices as recently as 4 hours ago. Now it's at 50 cents. Jesus Christ. What is our society became? That's a wild report right there. Hey, Steve. Good morning. Good morning. That's wild. Halfway through the dream. Need to finish this coffee. In my opinion, yeah, it does seem very much like it is based just solely off of oil. And if Anonymous is right, that's just the superpowers cutting a piece of the cake. I want to see I want to see what Maduro has purchased in the last 6 months through either him or contractors, subcontractors, kind of like how we covered the other day on Putin's new palace in Crimea. I want to see his subcontractors and reports on how he moved cash around. Oh, Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey's going nuclear right now, guys.
Warned us that, Mr. Speaker, James Madison warned us that in no part of the Constitution is more wisdom to be found than in the clause which confides the question of war and peace to the legislature and not the executive. Madison called it the crown jewel of Congress. The framers understood a simple truth. To the extent that war-making power devolves to one person, liberty dissolves. If the president believes military action against Venezuela is justified and needed, he should make the case and Congress should vote before American lives and treasure are spent on regime change in South America. Let's be honest about likely outcomes. Do we truly believe that Nicolas Maduro will be replaced by a
This is December 17th and he was saying this.
modern-day George Washington? How did that work out? In Cuba, Libya, Iraq, or Syria? Previous presidents told us to go to war over WMDs, weapons of mass destruction that did not exist. Now it's the same playbook, except we're told that drugs are the WMDs. If it were about drugs, we'd bomb Mexico, or China, or Colombia, and the president would not have pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez. This is about oil and regime change. And when it comes to regime change, we've already been down this road with Venezuela with nothing to show for it. In 2019, we recognized Juan Guaido. We seized their embassy here in D.C. We were told that regime change was imminent. Years later, Maduro remains in power. Today, we're told to place our hopes in other...
Rod says not just oil, more importantly, is there blue cobalt, rare earth minerals for the broligarchs? I have to dive a little deeper into that, but I have no doubt it's probably for space rockets and them trying to mine different freaking planets for rare out of earth materials, or just getting the hell out of here because they know they're destroying it.
Exiled figures. Edmundo Gonzalez and Maria Corina Machado. I wish them well.
These sons of bitches are trying to live forever.
Well, I do. But Congress should not express moral sympathy in the form of a blank check for military escalation and American lives. And let's take a moment to acknowledge the contradiction at the heart of this policy. This administration tells us that the Maduro regime is made up of narco-terrorists, and by escalating toward war, we would predictably create countless refugees. At the same time, this administration has moved to end temporary protected status for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans and deports them back to the very regime it condemns. So which is it? Are we prepared to receive swarms of the 25 million Venezuelans who will likely become refugees and billions in American treasure?
What time is it in Florida? It is 11:25 a.m. right now, and it is 8:25 a.m. here.
That will be used to destroy and inevitably rebuild that nation? Do we want a miniature Afghanistan in the Western Hemisphere? If that cost is acceptable to this Congress, then we should vote on it as a voice of the people and in accordance with our Constitution. And yet today, here we aren't even voting on whether to declare war or authorize the use of military force. All we're voting on is a war powers resolution that strengthens the fabric of our republic by reasserting the plain and simple language in the Constitution that Congress must decide questions of war. I urge support for this resolution, and I yield back.
I can't wait to see the legal battle that's going to occur from this.
Mr. Speaker, James Madison warned us that
It's going to be really interesting to see. It looks like all the press are ready. Like, everybody's ready. Where the fuck are they? Where are these clowns? Where are these clowns? You know, another thing isn't. I mean, Venezuela geographically, it's right next to the Panama Canal, right? Not right next. Colombia would be next. It is on the north end of South America. Another question, why the primary focus on Venezuela, not Colombia, when the majority of drugs come from Colombia? It's clearly for oil and it's probably for other resources too. They have to have more than just oil there. But obviously some of the oil oligarchs got pissed off and their Trumpy friends, and they're like, hey, go get that fucker out of there. And he said, yes, massa. And he did exactly that. Pam Bondi came out. Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, have been indicted in Southern District of New York. Nicolas Maduro has been charged with narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, possession of machine guns and destructive devices, and conspiracy to possess machine guns and destructive devices against the United States of America. They will soon face the full wrath of American justice. Wrath of American justice? Okay. She is so fucking dumb. They will soon face the full wrath of American justice on the American soil and American courts. On behalf of the entire... I can't even read these assholes. I can't even read it. Oh my god, okay. They will soon face the full wrath of American justice on American soil and American courts. On behalf of the entire U.S. DOJ, I would like to thank President Trump for having the courage and the demand accountability on behalf of American people. And huge thanks to our brave military who conducted this incredible, highly successful mission to capture these two alleged international narco traffickers. I like how she put alleged at the bottom after they will face the wrath of our courts.
Keeps hitting the tripod. Is it true?
Yeah, I know. I think, no, Steve, I think Merck was still going when it was captured. Pretty sure.
But not right now.
I peeked in for a second, but I tried to go straight to bed.
Okay. To my right.
Key points: Venezuela minerals, major exports, oil, coal. What the hell is bauxite? Coal, gold, iron ore, and gold.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Gold, gold, gold. But gold.
Ну, как тебя взяли и тут сейчас будет по-любому интересная история.
Взяли меня блестяще, со спецназом, да.
Со
спецназом, да.
Ну.
AI. Is it sleepy time for you, Steve? CP's time on the other side of the world. I gotta keep you up. $3:31 a.m. for Steve over in freaking Aussie land. Holy shit. You are a savage. Savage. Thank you for being here. We're just waiting for the Orange Man to rock you to bed with some obscene hymns. We get you some nice, peaceful, obscene hymns coming from some obscene lullabies coming from the Orange Man here soon. We'll put you right to sleep. Get you nice and cozy. Tulsi Gabbard, the United States, when is this? When was this? January 24th of 2019. The United States needs to stay out of Venezuela. Let the Venezuelan people determine their future. We don't want other countries to choose our leaders, so we have to stop trying to choose theirs. Ouch. Ouch. Elon Musk just retweeted Doge designer, which is probably him. Breaking, X is now the #1 news app on the App Store in Venezuela. The people of Venezuela are receiving all the unfiltered and truthful news right here on this platform in real time.
From coming into the Democrats, maybe they'll take a shot. You know, they'll take a shot. Oh, all they do is complain. They don't talk about. They should say, you know what? We did a great job. We're stopping drugs from coming into this country, and nobody's been able to do it until we came along. But they should say, great job. They shouldn't say, oh, gee, maybe it's not constitutional. You know, the same old stuff that we've been hearing for years and years and years.
Richard Woodruff put out a good point. Slow, low-flying helicopters wouldn't last 5 seconds here in Ukraine. Trump shouldn't risk the lives of American heroes for oil. This is about regime change. It's about Trump's thirst. This is not about regime change. It's about Trump's thirst for cash, cash, cash. It is very interesting how none of the anti-aircraft systems were working. That to me is a very suspicious act. And why would they capture him instead of just shoot him? If they really wanted him gone, they would have said he grabbed a rifle and they would have just killed him. So I don't want to go down the conspiratorial rabbit hole, but Anonymous posting that back in November makes me question a lot of things behind this. It'll be interesting to see after the trial of Maduro where exactly he's sentenced to prison. Exactly where. All right, Representative James Walkinshaw came out with a comment. 11th District of Virginia. Trump's regime change war in Venezuela is flat out illegal, and yet another betrayal of the commitments he made to the American people. He said he'd lower prices. He's driving prices up. He said no new stupid wars. He's starting new stupid wars. Adam Kissinger. Didn't Trump just pardon a massive drug kingpin? Yes, he did. Former president of Honduras. Hey, I stopped dropping frames. Super stoked about that, guys. Stream's going good. Yeah, the peace president. You spelled peace wrong, Cypher. Try again. Trump is the peace president, but you spelled it wrong. Try again. Everybody's retweeting Tulsi Gabbard's post from 2019. I love it. What a great troll. I love it when they just frickin' shit where they eat. It makes it so easy. There you go. You're a big boy now. Who else we got speaking out?
Connect that direct interest. I learned as a congressman that when the U.S. takes military action, it must be in the direct interests of the United States. It's hard for me to connect that direct interest to our action in Venezuela. Yeah, Maduro was a very bad guy, and he ignored an election that would have removed him from power. But at the same time, does that justify the direct military intervention? The other troubling aspect is the issue of spheres of influence. If that's our sphere of influence and we can do what we want, other strong or great powers begin to think they can do what they want. Does China all of a sudden say that Taiwan is in their sphere of influence? Yep. Does Vladimir Putin say that's what justifies our invasion of Ukraine and perhaps his intentions to go to other countries? Now look, I hope that this intervention will result in good things for the United States and good things for the world, but I am troubled by what the implications could be and what the long-term impact will be on the entire world and world peace.
Okay, thank you very much. This is big.
All right, here we go.
Appreciate you being here. Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history.
He sounds so sleepy.
And if you think about it,
senile.
Some other good ones like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer, all perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement,
I have about
successfully
200%
captured
increase.
Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York, it's Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan, or if you look back to
He made the deal there.
the Jimmy Carter days, they were different days. We're
What the
a respected country again, like maybe like never before. These
Jimmy
highly
Carter?
trained warriors
Not
operating
relevant.
in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea. We were just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming. So they were in a ready, what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see. Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one.
He didn't drink his mushroom
was
coffee.
more
I'm just
importantly
saying.
killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far. With capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have. And you see that even if you just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea.
Okay, so we're done.
90%. Each boat kills 25, on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come
Mission
from
accomplished.
a place called Venezuela.
Maduro
We're going
gets
to
his
run
house
the
in
country
Dubai.
until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious, because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela, and that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela.
They're going to deport
doesn't
all the
have the good of the
Venezuelans
Venezuelan
now.
people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping. and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, the many, many Americans. Hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now they're on a ship. They'll be heading to ultimately New York, and then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami,
Moscow,
or Florida,
or Dubai.
But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power.
Venezuela
and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people.
Yeah, we own Venezuela now, is what he's saying.
Region.
It's ours.
And
We
you also,
occupy it.
in addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs,
They're not
that
getting it back.
inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over, in particular, the United States. Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang, Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide.
All right, have
He
fun,
did
Pyro.
indeed. They were in
Thank you for being
Colorado.
here.
They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers
Say hi
of
to
people
Greg
that
for
they
me.
call police. They were brutal, but they're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete, and everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, frankly.
Lies.
And now we have no crime in Washington, D.C.
Lies.
We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago. A little bit of a different kind of a threat. But we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have two, on average, 2 a week in Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore.
Except for the few
Restaurants are
servicemen that
opening.
were gunned
Everyone's
down.
happy. They're going, they're walking their daughters, they're walking their children, their wives. They walk to restaurants. Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military. And I want to thank law enforcement. It's been amazing. And they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down We've just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And the governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana, and we have done that. It was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing, and we've only been there for 2.5 weeks. Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster. But it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there when they need us. We'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires. That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But we'll be pulling out when they need us. They'll call, or we'll go back if we have to. We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C., because it's our nation's capital. We took it from being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the safest cities in the country. But the gangs that
it's not me, Rod.
They sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned. Will never again be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives were so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuelan terrorist organization. Really one of the worst. One of the worst. They say the worst. Americans like 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungary from Houston. Beautiful Jocelyn Nungary. What happened to her? They, as
yes,
you know, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Tren de Aragua animals. They murdered Jocelyn and left her dead under the bridge. There was a bridge.
Words hard.
A bridge that will never be the same to so many people after seeing what happened. As I've said many times, the Maduro regime emptied out their prisons, sent their worst and most violent monsters into the United States.
Seriously.
To steal American lives. And they came from mental institutions and insane asylums. They came from prisons and jails. The reason I say both,
it's
they sound similar. Actually, prisons.
Fucking.
A little bit more hostile, a little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from their mental institutions.
Or
they
little
sent
Rubio.
From their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers. They were drug kingpins. They sent everybody bad into the United States, but no longer. And we have now a border where nobody gets through. In addition, Venezuela seized and sold American oil, American assets, and American platforms.
Venezuela.
Costing us billions and billions of dollars. They did this a while ago, but we never had a president that did anything about it. They took all of our property. It was our property. We built it. And we never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela.
Is he talking about Ukraine?
Oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill. And the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations. And they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, so we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it. America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did. Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries in our region and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. Weapons last night. Potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries. And not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines. And the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal. But we've superseded it by a lot. By a real lot. They now call it the Monroe Document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen. So just in concluding, for decades, other administrations have neglected or even contributed to these growing security threats in the Western Hemisphere. Under the Trump administration, we are reasserting American power in a very powerful way in our home region. And our home region is very different than it was just a short while ago. The future will be, and we did this in my first term. We had great dominance in my first term, and we have far greater dominance right now. Everyone's coming back to us. The future will be determined by the ability to protect commerce and territory and resources that are core to national security.
Venezuela.
Core to our
dominance.
national security. Just like tariffs.
Venezuela.
They've made our country rich, and they've made our national security stronger than ever before. But these are the iron laws that have always determined global power. And we're going to keep it that way. We will secure our borders. We will stop the terrorists. We will crash the cartels, and we will
nothing
defend
but
our
imperialism.
Citizens against all threats, foreign and domestic. Other presidents may have lacked the courage or whatever to defend America, but I will never allow terrorists and criminals to operate with impunity against the United States. This extremely successful operation should serve as warning to anyone who would threaten American sovereignty or endanger American lives. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect. The American Armada remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met and fully satisfied. All political and military figures in Venezuela should understand what happened to Maduro can happen to them, and it will happen to them if they aren't just, fair, even to their people.
Give it up.
The dictator and terrorist, Maduro, is finally gone in Venezuela. People are free. They're free again. It's been a long time for them, but they're free. America is a safer nation. This morning, it's a prouder nation this morning because it didn't allow this horrible person and this country that was doing very bad things to us. It didn't allow it to happen. And the Western Hemisphere is right now a much safer place to be. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank General Raisin Kane. He's a fantastic man. I've worked with a lot of generals. I worked with some I didn't like. I worked with some I didn't respect. I worked with some that just weren't good. But this guy is fantastic. I watched last night one of the most precise attacks on sovereignty. I mean, it was an attack for justice. And I'm very proud of him.
Attack on sovereignty? Did he just say that?
Pete Hegseth, who I'm going to ask to say
it was an attack on sovereignty.
Thank you
Mr. President, can you explain how the U.S. will run Venezuela?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects and the American people deserve. And as the President said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power and the precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid flawlessly executed by the greatest Americans our country has to offer. American warriors are second to none, the best in the world and the best of our country. What all of us witnessed last night was sheer guts and grit, gallantry, and glory of the American warrior. I'm simply humbled by such men. And I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans who stood watch last night. Our warriors are the elite of America, and again, President Trump has your back. No other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve.
Trump
the most
knows
powerful
words.
combination the world has ever seen. As the president said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can project our will anywhere, anytime. The coordination, the stealth, the lethality, the precision, the very long arm of American justice, all on full display in the middle of the night. Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around, and he found out.
Oh, my God.
President Trump is deadly serious about stopping the flow of gangs and violence to our country. Deadly serious about stopping the flow of drugs and poison to our people. Deadly serious about getting back the oil that was stolen from us. And deadly serious about establishing American deterrence and dominance in the Western Hemisphere. This is about the safety, security, freedom, and prosperity of the American people. This is America first. This is peace through strength. And the United States War Department is proud to help deliver it. Welcome to 2026.
Do it to Russia.
Under President Trump, America is back. I'd like to welcome now our chairman, Chairman Raisin Kane, to give a few more details about the operation. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. Last night, on the order of the President of the United States and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, as the President said, the United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice two indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro. This operation, known as Operation Absolute Resolve, was discreet, precise, and conducted during the darkest hours of January 2nd and was the culmination of months of planning and rehearsal, an operation that, frankly, only the United States military could undertake. What I'd like to do this morning is talk to you through some of the preparation and the details without compromising any of our tactics, techniques, and procedures.
So,
there is
Pete,
always
if you
a
could,
chance
please leave the room.
that we'll be tasked to do this type of mission again. Our interagency work began months ago and built on decades of experience of integrating complex air, ground, space, and maritime operations. While the past 2 decades have honed the skills of our special operations forces, this particular mission required every component of our joint force, with soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians working in unison with our intelligence agency partners
Operation
and law enforcement
Venezuela.
teammates in an unprecedented operation. We leveraged our unmatched intelligence capabilities and our years of experience in hunting terrorists. And we could not have done this mission without the incredible work by various intelligence agencies, including the CIA, NSA, and NGA. We watched, we waited, we prepared, we remained patient and professional. This mission was meticulously planned, drawing lessons from decades of missions over the last many years, many missions
the
over these
nuclear
last
capabilities
many
in
years.
Iran.
This was an audacious operation that only the United States could do. It required the utmost precision and integration within our joint force. And the word integration does not explain the sheer complexity of such a mission. An extraction so precise it involved more than 150 aircraft launching across the Western Hemisphere in close coordination, all coming together in time and place to layer effects for a single purpose, to get an interdiction force into downtown Caracas while maintaining the element of tactical
Go
surprise.
get those Venezuelers.
Failure of one component of this well-oiled machine
The
would have
Venezuelers.
endangered the entire mission, and failure is never an option for America's joint force. Those in the air over Caracas last night were willing to give their lives for those on the ground and in the helicopters. Let me talk a little bit about the preparation. After months of work by our intelligence teammates to find Maduro and understand how he moved, where he lived, where he traveled, what he ate, what he wore, what were his pets, in early December, our force was set pending a series of aligned events. Key was choosing the right day to minimize the potential for civilian harm and maximize the element of surprise and minimize the harm to the indicted personnel, so as the president said, they could be brought to justice. And as the president said earlier today, weather in Venezuela is always a factor this time of the year. And over the weeks through Christmas and New Year's, the men and women of the United States military sat ready, patiently waiting for the right triggers to be met and the president to order us into action. Last night, the weather broke just enough, clearing a path that only the most skilled aviators in the world could maneuver through. Ocean, mountain, low cloud ceilings, but when tasked with a mission, this organization does not quit. At 10:46 p.m. Eastern Time last night, the President ordered the United States military to move forward with this mission. He said to us, and we appreciate it, Mr. President, good luck and Godspeed. And those words were transmitted to the entire joint force. Over the course of the night, aircraft began launching from 20 different bases on land and sea across the Western Hemisphere. In total, more than 150 aircraft, bombers, fighters, intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance, rotary wing were in the air last night. Thousands and thousands of hours of experience were airborne. Our youngest crew member was 20, and our oldest crew member was 49, and there's simply no match for American military might. As the night began, the helicopters took off with the extraction force, which included law enforcement officers,
still in the
and
military.
began their flight into Venezuela at 100 feet above the water. As they approached Venezuelan shores, the United States began layering different effects provided by Spacecom, Cybercom, and other members of the interagency to create a pathway. Overhead, those forces were protected by aircraft from the United States Marines, the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, and the Air National Guard. The force included F-22s, F-35s, F-18s, EA-18s, E-2s, B-1 bombers, and other support aircraft, as well as numerous remotely piloted drones. As the force began to approach Caracas, the Joint Air Component began dismantling and disabling the air defense
He looks like he's
systems
barely
in
alive
Venezuela,
right now.
employing weapons to ensure the safe passage of the helicopters into the target area. The goal of our air component is, was, and always will be to protect the helicopters and the ground force and get them to the target and get them home. As the force crossed the last point of high terrain where they'd been hiding in the clutter, we assessed that we had maintained totally the element of surprise. As the helicopter force ingressed towards the objective at low level, we arrived at Maduro's compound at 1:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 2:01 a.m. Caracas local time, and the apprehension force descended into Maduro's compound and moved with speed, precision, and discipline towards their objective, and isolated the area to ensure the safety and security of the ground force while apprehending the indicted persons.
How many were killed? That's what I want to
On
know.
arrival into the target area, the helicopters came under fire, and they replied with that fire with overwhelming force in self-defense.
So,
one of our aircraft was hit, but remained flyable, and as the president
They
said
invaded
earlier today,
airspace
all
of
our
another
aircraft
country.
Came home, and that aircraft remained flyable during the rest of the mission. As the operation unfolded at the compound, our air and ground intelligence teams provided real-time updates to the ground force, ensuring those forces could safely navigate the complex environment without unnecessary risk. The force remained protected by overhead tactical aviation. Maduro and his wife,
Look, he's looking for hot chicks
gave
in the
up
crowd now. He
and
wants to
were
go
taken
golfing.
into custody by the Department of Justice, assisted by our incredible U.S. military with professionalism and precision.
Is he staring at his ass? That's so weird.
Life. After securing the indicted persons, the force began to prep for departure. Helicopters were called in to exfiltrate the extraction force, while fighter aircraft and remotely piloted aircraft provided overhead coverage and suppressive fire. There were multiple self-defense engagements as the force began to withdraw out of Venezuela. The force successfully exfiltrated and returned to their afloat launch bases, and the force was over the water at 3:29 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with indicted persons on board. And both Maduro and his wife were embarked aboard the USS Iwo Jima. In closing, what we've witnessed today is a powerful demonstration of America's joint force. We think, we develop, we train, we rehearse, we debrief, we rehearse again and again, not to get it right, but to ensure that we cannot get it wrong. Our jobs are to integrate combat power so when the order comes, we can deliver overwhelming force at the time and the place of our choosing against any foe anywhere in the world. I am immensely proud today of our joint force and filled with gratitude to represent them here today. There is simply no mission too difficult for these incredible professionals and the families that stand by them and support them. As we stand here this morning, our forces remain in the region at a high state of readiness, prepared to project power, defend themselves, and our interests in the region. This operation is a testament to the dedication and unwavering
It's all
commitment
weird.
to
It's just like he's
justice and our
selling out to the
resolve
billionaires.
hold accountable
Trump's just
those
there to put
who
him on a
threaten
leash.
peace and stability. In closing, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the brave men and women who executed this mission. Their courage and tireless commitment to our nation are what makes us strong. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and thank you, Mr. President.
Well, I don't have much to add to what you've heard now, other than the following points. Nicolas Maduro was indicted in 2020 in the United States. He is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. That's not just us saying it. The first Trump administration, the Biden administration, the second Trump administration, none of those three recognized him. He's not recognized by the European Union and multiple countries around the world. He is a fugitive of American justice with a $50 million reward, which I guess we saved $50 million. And
we should make sure.
Yeah, exactly. But
don't let anybody claim it. Nobody deserves it but us.
But I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities.
Yeah, fuck that guy who snitched him out. He ain't getting paid.
Multiple very, very, very generous offers, and chose instead to act like a wild man. Chose instead to play around, and the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following: you have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. We're going to take. This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, if he says he's serious about something, he means it.
No new wars.
And this is something
I'm
that was a direct
serious.
threat to the
No
national
new
interest of
wars.
the United States. And the president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy, but instead he wanted to play big boy. And so now, you know, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody, but don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that I guess that lesson was
like
learned last
Putin.
night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
Is that a message for Cuba?
Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Mr. President. Mr. President.
You said that the U.S. is going to run Venezuela, so who's in power right now?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They
By a
will,
group.
be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have. But we're going to run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
By a group.
Mr. President.
President, does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground. Oh, so we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it.
We're going to do whatever we
We're
want.
going to make
Is
sure
what
that
he's saying.
the country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot. And we're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right. It's going to be run very
Run the company, he was about to say.
judiciously, very fairly. It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people that were taken advantage of. We're going to take care of everybody. It's very important. We couldn't let them get away with it. You know, they stole our oil. We built that whole industry there, and they just took it over like we were nothing. And we had a president
Rod,
that decided not
100%
to do
correct.
anything
It's
about
low-grade
it.
crude.
So we did
Crude,
something about it.
crude,
We're late,
crude, sorry.
but we did something
Venezuela
about it. Yeah,
coffee.
please.
Mr. President, can you explain the exact mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate a U.S. official to coordinate?
It's
Can you
all
just
being
unpack that?
done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to
Who
people. We're
specifically?
designating various people, and
Who?
we're going to let you know who those people are.
And I'm not going to let you know who those people are.
Would run Venezuela.
Well, it's largely going to be for a period of time the people that are standing right behind me.
The oil
We're gonna be
companies.
running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead. You know, I talk about
It's a
dead
gas
country.
station.
A year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest
We're not
country.
talking
anywhere in
about
the world.
us.
We're
Oh my
a
God,
country doing
dude.
better than any country anywhere in the world. And,
Single-celled
it
organism.
required leadership. Venezuela has a lot of bad people in there. A lot of bad people that shouldn't be leading. We're not going to take a chance that one of those people take over for Maduro. So you can look at and others. We have fantastic people, including people in the military. So we're going to have a group of people running it until such time as it can be put back on track, make a lot of money for the people, and give people a great way of life, and also reimbursement for people in our country that were forced out of Venezuela.
Mr. President.
Rubio would be.
You said earlier today that
regime
you weren't going to
change.
back Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned the vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship
Well, I
going?
understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her, and she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
Mr. President, Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, he said he's got to watch his ass. And today, he said he's not concerned about anything happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So, just what your message is
Well,
about
he
that.
has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine, And yeah, I think I stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his age.
Mr. President. Did you notify any members of Congress?
Go to Colombia next,
Marco,
huh?
do you want to talk about that? Because you were involved.
Sure. We call members of Congress immediately after. This was not the kind of mission.
Dang.
Congressional notification on. It was a trigger-based mission in which conditions had to be met night after night. We watched and monitored that for a
Making
number of
Venezuela
days.
great
so it's
again.
Just simply not the kind of mission you can call people and say, hey, we may do this at some point in the next 15 days. But it's largely a law enforcement function. Remember, at the end of the day, at its core, this was an arrest of 2 indicted fugitives of American justice, and the Department of War supported the Department of Justice in that job. Now, there are broader policy implications here, but it's just not the kind of mission that you can pre-notify because it endangers the mission.
If I can add one thing to that, Congress has a tendency to leak. This would not be good. If they leaked, General, I think it would have been maybe a very different result. But I have to say, they knew we were coming at some point, you know. We had a lot of ships out there. They sort of knew we were coming.
Mr. President.
But Congress will leak, and we don't want leakage.
Mr. President, you were one of the only people to watch this all play out live. What was Maduro doing when the U.S. forces entered what I assume would be his home? And also, was there any
Buying
point
property
where the U.S.
overseas.
was considering if Maduro pushed back or resisted killing Maduro?
After he gets a plea deal.
It could have happened. It could have happened. He was trying to get into a safe place. You know, the safe place is all steel.
Dubai.
And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast. They went through the opposition so fast. And there was a lot of opposition. You know, people were wondering, do we get them by surprise? Sort of surprised, but they were waiting for something. It was a lot of opposition. There was a lot of gunfire. You saw some of it today. But he was trying to get to a safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47 seconds, they say on average, regardless of how thick the
It's
steel
making
was.
numbers up now.
It was a very thick door. It was a very heavy door, but he was unable to get to that door. He made it to the door. He was unable to close it.
So where is Maduro going to be?
Go ahead, finish.
Where is Maduro going to be in the time being right now? Do you know his exact
Well,
whereabouts?
eventually, ultimately,
Jeffrey
in the
Epstein's
near
cell.
future, he's going to be brought to New York.
And where is he going to be held? Where is he going to be held?
County jail.
That's going to be up to the officials that do these things.
Mr. President, the U.S. has something of a mixed track record of ousting dictators without necessarily a plan for what comes afterwards.
Not with
Did
me,
that
though.
weigh on your
Well,
decision
that's
making?
when we had different presidents, but with me, that's not true. With me, we've had a perfect track record of winning. We win a lot, and we win. If you look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, you look at the Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer was
A hammer.
Right now, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. We have essentially peace in the Middle East because of that. If we weren't successful with Midnight Hammer, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. So, with me, you've had a lot of victory. You've had only victories. You've had no losses. Yeah.
Mr. President, can you? How long do you expect the U.S. to run Venezuela, and how soon do you want the Venezuelan people?
Until the oil's gone.
So I'd like to do it quickly, but it takes a period of time. You know, we're rebuilding. We have to rebuild their whole infrastructure. The infrastructure is rotted. It's actually very dangerous. It's blow-up territory. Oil is very dangerous.
Blow-up
It's a very
territory.
dangerous thing to take
until
out
all
of
the
the
oil's
ground.
gone.
It can kill a lot of people. It has killed a lot of people doing just that. The infrastructure is old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it. And we're going to take a lot of money out so that
What's
we can take
China's
care of the
response?
country.
Secretary Rubio and Mr. President, China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when
Well,
it
in
comes to
terms
the
of
oil and
China
drugs?
and Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to. In other words, we'll be selling oil, probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
Straight took that shit.
Are you saying that, Mr. President, are you saying that? Oh.
Mr. President, thank you. What is your message to the people of Venezuela today? Of course, the civilian population specifically, they have a lot of questions. What is your message to the people of
That
Venezuela?
you're going to have peace, justice. You're going to have some of the riches that you should have had for a long period of time. It was stolen from you. But you're going to have peace, and you're going to have safety, you're going to have justice, you're going to have a country, you're going to have a real country, you're going to have potentially a great country. You know, if you go back 20 years, maybe even a little longer ago, that was a great country, and they destroyed it. Remember I said that if we lose this election, the United States will be Venezuela on steroids. That's what would have happened. Had we lost the election, the 2024 election, we suffered so badly. When you look at the border from 2020, what they did, what Joe Biden administration did to our country should never be forgotten. But if we had to go through another year of that, we would be exactly where Venezuela was in terms. I used to say, if they win, we're going to be Venezuela on steroids, and that's what would have happened.
President, thank you. Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S. military
They're
troops
going
to
to be a
provide?
team that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro. And right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice. We're going to have this done right. We're not going to just do this with Maduro, then leave like everybody else, leave and say, you know, let it go to hell. If we just left,
we're there to stay.
There's zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it properly. We'll run it professionally. We'll have the greatest oil companies in the world going and invest billions and billions of dollars.
We're taking the country.
Use that money in Venezuela, and the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people of Venezuela. And
we just took a country.
Can't stress this strongly enough. The people that got thrown out of Venezuela, that are now in the United States, and frankly, some want to stay, and some probably want to go back. Yeah.
So, Mr. President, what's being done to protect Americans in the country, and were any of the detained Americans
Well, right now they're
arrested
very
last
protected
night?
because nobody's going to mess with us. They're very protected. The people of, and we let them know that you better not touch one of them.
Are you concerned that bad elements of the Maduro regime will remain in place?
Well, we know who they are. We're on them, and they're acting much differently now than they would have acted 2 days ago. Okay, wait, behind you, please.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world. And we want to make sure we can protect it.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Please, go ahead.
Yeah, is there a message here for Cuba and Diaz-Canel?
Well, Cuba's an interesting case. Cuba is, not doing very well right now. That system has not been a very good one for Cuba. The people there have suffered for many, many years. And I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation right now, very badly failing nation. And we want to help the people.
We're going to
take
it all.
In the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I mean, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about, when the president speaks, you should take him seriously. So suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men, and in some cases, not senile, but incompetent nonetheless. It has no economy. It's in total collapse. And by the way, they were, all the guards that helped protect Maduro, this is well known, their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans.
Cuba.
I mean, they basically, it's
Venezuela
amazing.
and Cuba.
Island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems that Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba. They tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint.
Shit's wild.
So, yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least a little bit.
Are you cutting off the oil flow to Cuba from Venezuela?
Well, the president already announced a week ago that anything that's sanctioned, it's sanctioned oil, it's not going to be allowed to get there. So that's an
The answer is yes.
Mr. President.
Is the U.S. aware of the location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Mr. President, on Monday.
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect.
Mr. President, is it possible that the U.S. ends up administrating Venezuela
for years,
Well, it won't cost us anything because the
Oh man,
money
yeah, we're
coming
not
out of
going
the
nowhere.
ground is very substantial. So it's
We
not
want
gonna
it all.
cost
So the
us
U.S. isn't
anything.
going to dedicate
We
any
will.
money to.
They're taking everything.
We want safety there. We want to be surrounded by countries that aren't housing all of our enemies all over the world. That's what was happening, and you don't want to have that. But we're going to be rebuilding, and we're not spending money. The oil companies are going to go in. They're going to spend money. We're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago. A lot of money is coming out of the ground. We're going to get reimbursed for all of that. We're going to get reimbursed for everything that we spend. So it's going to be a very important. This is a very big evening that took place last night. We have to be surrounded by safe, secure countries, and we also have to have energy. Very important. We have to have energy that's real energy, not where they're getting 4% and 5% of the energy out of the ground. You take a look. It was such a disaster. So what's going to happen with Venezuela, I think, over the next period of a year is going to be a great thing. And the people of Venezuela will be the biggest beneficiaries.
Mr. President, no, they won't. We will be. The United States won't. At least the oligarchs
President,
will.
thank you. What did you last speak to Maduro about when you spoke? And is the
Well,
US
I don't want
at
to get
war
into
with
the
Venezuela?
conversations, but I did have conversations with him, and I said,
Let's put on a murder show.
surrender. And I actually thought he was pretty close to doing so, but now he wished he did, yeah.
Mr. President, can you explain, you said that Maduro is responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras who was convicted of many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations are different? And would you ever pardon Maduro?
I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina. And we are doing very well with that whole group. What the man that I pardoned was, if you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump.
Dude.
That didn't work out too well for them. This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was the head of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them. And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened to him. He's also a party member of the man who won. So obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was done is because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great detail. I went to a lot of the people standing behind me, and they felt that that man was persecuted and treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
Mr. President, you referenced boots on the ground earlier. Can you just sort of button this up? Do you envision the U.S. military having a presence in Venezuela as the U.S. runs that country?
No, we're going to have a presence in Venezuela as it pertains to oil, because we have to have, we're sending our expertise in. So you may need something, not very much. But no, we're going to be taking out a tremendous amount of wealth out of the ground. And that wealth is going to the people of Venezuela and people from outside of Venezuela that used to be in Venezuela.
Where's my Doge check?
Also to the United States of America in the form of reimbursement for the damages caused us by that country. So I want to thank you all very much. Thank you. Do you have one? Yes.
We're taking your shit. There's nothing you can do. Go fuck yourself.
I'm going to give you the final question. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, Mr.
Unless
President.
it's a bad question, in
It's
which
about
case I'll
Putin.
go one word. It's about who?
It's about Putin, if you want.
About Putin? Well, that's always nice.
You had a
to talk
phone.
about Putin.
You had a phone call with him on Monday. Did he talk at all about Maduro? Did y'all talk about this?
No, we didn't.
And
We
then-
never spoke about Maduro.
Are you mad at him right now? I mean, there's this
I'm not
intelligence.
thrilled with Putin. I'm not thrilled with Putin. He's killing too many people.
There was that intelligence.
thought
This
that
war
would
would
be
have
so-
never happened if I was
I
president.
settled 8 1/4 war. You know what the 1/4 was? Thailand and Cambodia. I did it again. They broke out, and I did it in about 5 hours, and I settled it. I'm giving myself 1/4, so I'm up to now 8 1/4. In other words, I settled the war, but then they broke out. They had a pretty bad breakout over the last 4 days. I got them to go back to peace. So I only give 1/4. I thought the easiest one would be, one of the easier ones would be Russia, Ukraine. It's not. And they both have done some pretty bad things. And look, that's Biden's war. That's not my war. But I want to stop
If I
the
was
lives.
president,
Did
it
you
would have
see
never happened.
Where last month, 30,000. This last, it was 27. 27,000 the month before. 30,000, mostly soldiers, were killed this last month.
What are you doing about it?
I want to stop that.
Do it.
I got NATO to pay 5% instead of the 2% that they weren't paying. They weren't paying 2, now they pay 5. And we send them a lot of munitions. We send them a lot of things, missiles and various other things, a lot. And they pay. The United States is not losing money. We're probably making money on that. It's the last thing I care about. I just want to stop all those people. We're losing 25, 30,000 human beings. They come from 2 places that are very far away. But if I can stop, because it's something I've been pretty good at doing, deals, I guess. It's all a deal. Life is a big deal. But if I can stop that war and stop 30,000 young people, in addition to the fact that people are being killed in Kiev, people are being killed in other cities, a much smaller number, but they're being killed, viciously killed. So I'm not happy about it. I thought that would be something that would get solved. We have Mr. Witkoff here. I think that we're making progress, but that's a war that should have never happened. If I were president, it would have never happened. Putin says it. Everybody says it. If I were president, that would have never happened. But I inherited that war. That was Joe Biden, Zelensky, and Putin. I came into the situation, and it's a mess. And I will say this. I watched an operation last night that was so precise, that was so brilliant. I mean, it was incredible. If we had our people, like this general, and our people involved, that war would not have gone on very long. That I can tell you.
Yeah, they would have probably snatched up Zelensky.
To use an old term, that war has become a bloodbath, and we want it to get stopped. Thank you very much.
No depth. No depth. They would have snatched up Zelensky. That's what I heard from that. I didn't hear anything of depth out of that. Again, no solution, no answer. Biden's war. Venezuela's ours. Venezuela. We now control Venezuela, guys. Venezuela is now the 51st state of America. Station 51, if you will. For Venezuela oil. That would be the end of the press briefing. What did we get out of that? What did we get? We basically just took Venezuela's natural resources, ousted the president. We're working with a group that he will not name, a mysterious shadow group that is going to run the country. Marjorie Taylor Greene, holy cow, she went off. Jesus, she's got to take. I served on the Homeland Security Committee for the past 3 years. I'm 100% for strong, safe, secure borders and stopping narco-terrorists and cartels from trafficking deadly drugs, human trafficking into America. Fentanyl is responsible for 70% of U.S. drug overdose deaths, and fentanyl comes from Mexican cartels, made with chemical precursors from China and trafficked across the U.S.-Mexico border. Mexican cartels are primarily and overwhelmingly responsible for killing Americans with deadly drugs. If the U.S. military action and regime change in Venezuela was really about saving American lives from deadly drugs, then why hasn't the Trump admin taken action against Mexican cartels? And if prosecuting narco-terrorists is a high priority, then why did President Trump pardon the former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was convicted and sentenced for 45 years for trafficking hundreds of tons of cocaine into America? Ironically, cocaine is the same drug that Venezuela primarily traffics into the U.S. The next obvious observation is that by removing Maduro, this is a clear move for control over Venezuelan oil supplies that will ensure stability for the next obvious regime change war in Iran. And of course, why is it okay for America to militarily invade, bomb, arrest a foreign leader, but Russia is evil for invading Ukraine and China is bad for aggression against Taiwan? Is it only okay if we do it? I'm not endorsing Russia or China. Regime change. funding foreign wars and American tax dollars being consistently funneled to foreign causes, foreigners both home and abroad, and foreign governments, while Americans are consistently facing increasing costs of living facts, housing, healthcare facts, and learn about scams and fraud of their tax dollars, and what has most Americans enraged. Especially the younger generations. Boomers and half of Gen X will cheer on neocon wars and talking points, but the other half of Gen X and majority on down see through it and hate it. America's disgust with our government's never-ending military aggression and support of foreign wars is justified because we are forced to pay for it in both parties, Republicans and Democrats, always keep the Washington military machine funded and going. This is why many in MAGA thought they voted to end. This is what many in MAGA thought they voted in. Boy, we were wrong. As the baby boomers sleep away both in votes and power, the electoral future will be decided for candidates that focus on American economic populism and promising prosperity for Americans only. As of right now, neither party is offering the solution. Marjorie Taylor Greene, aka Brown. What's Congress saying? Refresh. Let's see what Ed Craston's saying. Are you kidding me? America's taking control of Venezuela. Not only are we overthrowing Maduro, but we are literally going to run the country. This is wild. What the? January 3rd, 2026, guys. 3 days into the new year. 3 days into the new year, and we are now running Venezuela. Thomas Massey, representative, says 25-page indictment, but no mention of fentanyl or stolen oil. Search it for yourself. MTG is striking back. The next obvious observation is that by removing Maduro, this is a clear move for control of Venezuelan oil supplies that will ensure stability for the next obvious regime change, war in Iran. Also takes away a key source of oil from China. If it was about drugs killing Americans, they would be bombing Mexican cartels. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Thomas Massey's fired up. Attorney General and other legally characterize attack in Venezuela as arrest with military support. Meanwhile, Trump announces he's taken over the country and will run it until he finds someone suitable to replace him. Added bonus says American oil companies will get to exploit the oil. Hey, Rowan, guys, we have Rowan in the chat. Hello, Webview. Yep, we've taken control of Venezuela, my guy. It's now the United States gas station. This is wild. Outrageous. Outrageous. And he had nothing good to say about stopping the war in Ukraine. He just deflected again. It's Biden's war. If I was president, this war would never happen. Blah, blah, blah. And then this part, threatening Colombian president.
Mr. President, Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, he said he's got to watch his ass. And today he said he's not concerned about anything happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So just what your message is about that.
Well, he has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine. And yeah, I think I stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his ass.
Threats to the Colombian president also occurring.
Has escalated his illegal and dangerous war with Venezuela by bombing the country and taking its president. But under the Constitution, Congress can actually put a stop to this. That's why I'm demanding that we take a vote on a war powers resolution. And if all Democrats stick together and a few Republicans find a spine, we can put an end to this and not put young Americans and troops needlessly at risk in another potentially endless war. Donald Trump says he doesn't like mass migration. Well, then why is he going and instigating regime change in a Latin American country? Invading countries in Latin America has always caused more mass displacement and mass migration. Donald Trump says he wants to put Americans first, but he says there isn't enough money for our health care, but there is enough money for a war with Venezuela. Donald Trump says he wants peace. Why does he keep on starting wars then? We need to vote on a war powers resolution immediately.
All right, that was Representative or Congressman Greg Cesar from Austin. That wasn't rude at all. These damn politicians, they're absolutely, they're controlled by the oligarchs. Congress is sitting on their freaking hands. They're not doing much. Hey, Bill. How you doing? Long time no see. Yeah, this is pretty shameful shit. I mean, it is, really. We just took their shit. We ousted their president. Well, the man in charge. He did ignore an election. So, you know, fuck that guy. He's also friends with Russia, so fuck that guy. But the legality behind what we just did, it didn't go through Congress. That was an act of war. I don't care how they're wording. In my mind, in my opinion, that was an act of war. What we saw last night with the Apache helicopters shooting miniguns into facilities, bombings happening, bomb runs happening, that was an act of war. And they bypassed Congress. They didn't follow the rules. And now we're just going to take shit. Welcome to the Chugalight Spell. Thank you very much. 10 gifteds also. Thank you very much. Gifted memberships. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it, Belle. It came in a really good time for me, too. We started out this year pretty weak in the pocket, so I appreciate the support. Absolutely. We lost no aircraft. Everything came back. One helicopter was hit pretty hard, but we got it back. We had a few injuries, but no deaths on our side. Really amazing. Is this actual footage? Wild. Ruben Gallegos. So we're in charge of Venezuela now. Senator from Arizona. I really want to see Congress in session on this, and actually, I want to hear him. Senator Chris Van Hollen. Trump and his cronies can try to dress this up, but it's an illegal act of war to replace Maduro and grab Venezuela's oil for his billionaire buddies. I mean, facts. It's Maryland, USA. U.S. Senator from Maryland. We just took their shit. Absolutely took their shit. All right, thank you for lurking in the background. Yep, we're gonna I want to see more reaction takes. There's so much. Lindsey Graham coming out. To my Chinese friends, in case you were planning a follow-up meeting with Maduro, he has a new address. It will be difficult to schedule another appointment, but I know he means a lot to you. Good luck. Holy shit. Oh, by the way, quit propping up narco-terrorist dictators like Maduro. Quit buying oil from Putin that is keeping his war machine flush with cash, and reconsider propping up Ayatollah in Iran, a religious Nazi, by buying his oil. China has aligned itself with every bad actor on the planet, keeping conflict ablaze. It's time they pay a price for the chaos they are sowing. Oof, heavy words. Lindsey Graham's coming out swinging, man. He doesn't hold much back, that guy. Gosh dang. The good old days, right?
Trump is gone. Tonight, I say this to my Republican colleagues who are defending the indefensible. There will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain.
Out of context from today, but still relevant. To the Piginator from Gavinator. We can't free Tina Petters. We don't know who she is. If you mean Tina Petters, then no, we don't free election thieves. Take a spelling class and anger management class. And I lost in 2020 because I'm a loser refresher class. Dang. Who wants to see this next? Facts. That's a great photo there. Can we get some of this? Anybody want to see Putin get snatched and grabbed? Who else we got talking?
Around 8:30 p.m. December the 13th, at around 8:30 p.m. Baghdad time, United States military forces captured Saddam Hussein alive. He was found near a farmhouse outside the city of Tikrit in a swift raid conducted without casualties. And now the former dictator of Iraq will face the justice he denied to millions. The capture of this man was crucial to the rise of a free Iraq. It marks the end of the road for him and for all who bullied and killed in his name. For the Ba'athist holdouts largely responsible for the current violence, there will be no return to the corrupt power and privilege they once held. For the vast majority of Iraqi citizens who wish to live as free men and women, this event brings further assurance that the torture chambers and the secret police are gone forever. And this afternoon, I have a message for the Iraqi people. You will not have to fear the rule of Saddam Hussein ever again. All Iraqis who take the side of freedom have taken the winning side. The goals of our coalition are the same as your goals: sovereignty for your country, dignity for your great culture, and for every Iraqi citizen, the opportunity for a better life. In the history of Iraq, a dark and painful era is over. A hopeful day has arrived. All Iraqis can now come together and reject violence and build a new Iraq. The success of yesterday's mission is a tribute to our men and women now serving in Iraq. The operation was based on the superb work of intelligence analysts who found the dictator's footprints in a vast country.
Jeez Louise. That is eerie. scary familiar. I want peeking in Venezuela. Actual Venezuelan feeds. There's so much hooey now. Everybody's jumping on it. Just some dudes chatting up like warm wishes to Venezuela, and it's 4 homies smoking weed, talking about their problems. TikTok is garbage for filtering that. Garbage. I'm looking for the TikTok feeds in Venezuela. Why isn't Nick Shirley down there yet? Cam Higby. I saw people celebrating earlier. I did. I don't see anybody actually down there. I don't see these massive celebrations occurring anymore. Nothing. Nothing there. Hit the like, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're gonna take a peek again. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Blah. White House. God bless the United States military. Breaking, kidnapping, and capture of Nicolas Maduro had everything to do with oil. We know. There's no doubt. Gunther Eagleman. No new wars. Gunther Eagleman. Did he unblock me? Oh, no, he did not unblock me. I'm still blocked by Gunther Eagleman. Fuck that guy. Fucking banana ass, spoon ass, eating ass. The thing about Trump's war in Venezuela is that he still hasn't released 5 million pages of the Epstein files. Thank you, Liam Neeson. Rubio, this is about a dictator who oppresses his people. Hegseth, it's about drugs and pose an imminent threat. Trump, nah, it's all about oil. Facts. Facts, they're all given different reasons. All right, what we got? Representative Dan Goldman. Trump's unilateral operation last night was an illegal act of war without Congress's authorization. Maduro is a brutal dictator who has oppressed the Venezuelan people, but our Constitution does not yield for bad people. If Congress is to survive as an institution, the Republican majority must join us exercising our power to hold this administration accountable for its flagrant violation of the Constitution. New York Representative Congressman Dan Goldman. Dan Goldman. You gave him 3 years of, he never blocked you? Yeah, he blocked me. FY, it would be very wise for everyone to wait and see how Venezuela plays out before know what is going to happen. Adam Kissinger. Damn, Bogino's still sucking it off.
I'm going to say this right now, and I mean this. Okay, Donald Trump, you've lost touch with your fucking base. You've lost touch with reality of what people actually want to see. And the people around you are either not telling you the truth or you're fucking in on it. And if you're not in on it, I would appreciate for you and I to have a discussion so I could inform you about what these people really want. Okay, so this can go on Twitter and you can have your people call me and I will get my fucking happy ass on an airplane and I'll sit down and enjoy a motherfucking Big Mac with you and we will fucking get real clear about what people actually want, because the motherfuckers around you are either full of shit or you're in on it.
Yeah.
And that's where people believe right now. Okay. And here's the thing.
A lot of people believe that.
Yes.
Dude.
And here's the thing. Okay. I said on last show, you're going to go down as the president who had the opportunity to fix this country and chose not to. And you might say, oh, well, that doesn't really fucking matter. Well, you know what? It's going to matter, because your kids are going to get blackballed in America. Okay. Your legacy is going to be ruined. The Trump name will be a fucking joke. And I know you care about those things.
Yeah.
And you should. And I truly believe that deep down, he still cares about America. Maybe I'm stupid for fucking thinking that. He needs to understand, and I stand by what I said on the last show, everybody who voted for him, everybody who stood for him, everybody who stood by him, you guys need to fucking put pressure on him.
Yeah.
Real talk. So, and it needs to be unrelenting pressure to do the things that he said he was going to do.
MAGA turning on its own MAGA base. My Earl, my drugs. No, Maduro. Oh my God, dude. My Earl, my Venezuela, Maduro. Dude, that is amazing. Just in, Venezuela opposition leader and Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado declares Venezuelans, the hour of freedom has arrived. Oh, Jesus. I'm skipping that. I don't need. Peruvian shamans predict Maduro's fall and an illness for Trump in 2026. This shit's hilarious.
Тут сейчас будет по-любому интересная история.
Взяли меня блестяще, со спецназом, да.
Со спецназом?
Со спецназом, да.
Ну?
Ну, прямо на адресе я пришел поднимать. Вот. Все сразу как в фильмах, люди с земли в маск-халатах, да.
Кто тебя сдал? Ты же знаешь.
I would love to do actual Wicklander interviews. I'm actually a certified interview interrogator. I would love to do this. This would be one of my dreams, to sit down and actually interview war criminals. I have to learn Russian to do that. But one of my specialties that I have training on is interview and interrogation. And I would absolutely love to do this. Dream job, funnest thing ever. So it's so cringe and awkward and uncomfortable, and it's just like I thrive in those scenarios. And I've never had anybody clam up. They will spill the beans every time. I have 100% successful track record on interviews and interrogation. Peaceful interview and interrogation. Passive. Tim Miller. Who's Tim Miller? Can't remember. Podcaster. The Patriotic Blonde. Dear America, I voted for Trump 3 times. I worked on 2 of his campaigns to help him get elected. I'm directly responsible for much of what is happening now. If I had to do it over again, I wouldn't. I am truly sorry. Holy shit. Damn. He's losing him. He's losing him. He's losing them. This is an actual US-based account too, not a fraud. MAGA is dying. They're losing it. They're losing their base. Refresh. Pete Buttigieg. It's an old and obvious pattern. Unpopular president failing on the economy and losing his grip on power at home decides to launch war for the regime change abroad. American people don't want to run a foreign country while other leaders fail to improve life in this country. In this country, he straight up said, we're going to make Venezuela great again.
Oh my God. I'm waiting for this day. It's a special. Thanks, President Trump. Of course, thanks. Oh my God. This is a special day. I am very excited. I am very happy. It's amazing. It's amazing. What do
some people are pretty happy. Some people are obviously pretty happy. They didn't give a shit how to get rid of this guy. I remember when a lot of Venezuelans fled the country and Maduro took power, because it got nasty. I remember when that happened, and there was a migration in the United States. I remember it. I took pity on them having to leave the country, but they absolutely fled. People were dying. People were getting shot. It was gnarly, and they got the hell out of there. They got the look at this. Dang, look at that anonymous mask there. I don't know how I feel about them thanking Trump though, but hey, it is what it is. Marjorie Taylor Greene, we are running Venezuela now. America first. Give her two cents there. Give her 2 cents. Nancy Pelosi. Venezuela is ruled by an illegitimate regime, but the administration has not made the case that an urgent threat to America's national security exists to justify the use of U.S. military force. President Trump has made no secret of his intentions to effectively abolish the Congress, and that pattern continues today with his flagrant disregard for the Article 1 war powers of Congress, which is essential to our constitutional system of checks and balances. If the president grounds his actions on the basis of drug trafficking charges, it is entirely hypocritical in light of his recent pardon of the former Honduran president Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was responsible for bringing more than 400 tons of cocaine in the United States in order to shove the drugs right up the noses of the gringos. The administration says Maduro will be tried for drug trafficking in the U.S. court, but Hernandez was convicted of the same crime by an American jury and Trump pardoned him. Congress must be fully and immediately briefed on the strikes and the regime change in Venezuela, the objectives and extent of this operation, and how the administration intends to prevent further regional fallout. How much you want to bet Maduro goes to trial and is found innocent, and then they just move him into some mansion somewhere? His own island, if you will. Oh God, here comes Fetterman. Here's fucking Fetterman's dumbass. Grateful for our U.S. military personnel that handle these orders in Venezuela with precision. I maintain that we have the strongest and most lethal military in the world. Today proves that even more. What a fucking loser. Loser. Grifter loser.
Venezuela. He called it Venezuela a lot. He also said we're running it now, which makes no sense. The vice president is still there. Military is still loyal to Maduro. Also, pretty much any time anyone else was speaking, he was about to nod off, standing behind them, and I was kind of like hoping maybe like, come on, just be funny if he just like stumbled forward because he just. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. Pretty wild. In the New Year's prediction, Peruvian shaman said that the fall of the Maduro, the end of the Ukrainian war, and a major illness for Trump will all happen in 2026. Come on to the end of the Ukrainian war. I'd be okay if Russia went home. I'm curious to see how us taking over the Venezuelan oil will affect the war in Russia. Because Venezuela was working with Russia closely. They had troops over there. They had a carrier there about a year ago, I think now. So it will be neat to see what happens. I hope. I mean, it's only going to hurt Russia. Well, partially it should hurt Russia. So I'm being optimistic on that. I would like to see Russia not win and go home. That would be a big plus for me if I could see that. That would be very nice.
Of war and peace.
Old. Amanda Moore. Listen, we're going to do whatever we have to do to get all these Venezuelans and Cubans the hell out of America. It's practically what he was thinking.
For their independence and for an agreement that Russia...
More on the Epstein.
Kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve.
Glazing.
Personality to start a war. Said, oh, he's going to start a war because they said I had that personality to start a war. They remember that? Oh, we can't vote for him. He's going to start a war. No, I used my personality that we didn't have to have wars. I was the first president in decades who started no new wars. You started no new wars and no new wars. No new wars. We don't need the wars. Foreign lands, countries you've never heard of, countries that don't even want us there. I was the first president in decades who started no new wars. I was the first president in decades who started no new wars. We will expel the warmongers from our government. You know, we never got into a war with me. I have a great record. We had peace. We had prosperity. We had no wars. We had no wars. That started no wars. We didn't have a war. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will expel the warmongers from our government. And we had no war.
Well, I think we know where that's going. Show this map to Trump. I like that. That's a good one.
States did this. In your heart of hearts, when you think about what the United States just did, I think there are very few Americans right now who have any idea why the United States did this. If this was about drug trafficking, then why did President Trump just pardon the former president of Honduras, who was convicted of sending hundreds of tons of drugs into the United States? If this was about something about...
Yeah, we know what it was about. Iran, your turn.
From drones, there's been reports of blackouts. This is a message for all active duty. If you ever get this, I want you to know something, that America is not behind you. This ain't like the Afghan war and the Iraqi war, where you got to come home and be celebrated as a hero, have romantic movies made for you in Hollywood. Nah, America is like what the fuck right now. So understand, if this ever I hope this gets to some fucking Navy dudes. If you are in the Navy, if you are in the Air Force, and you are behind the bombing of Caracas, Venezuela, America is not behind you. You will not be celebrated as a hero. You're a piece of shit. You are a piece of shit for following orders from fucking old, decrepit, corrupt men who are fucking over all of Americans right now. And now they're fucking over Venezuelans. America is not behind you, U.S. military. We are not behind you. You will not be celebrated. You have the freedom to turn down orders right now. If you are taking orders to bomb Caracas and bomb Venezuela, a sovereign country, and killing civilians, bombing civilian infrastructure, attacking even military targets, you are violating every fucking law. Not just man-made law. I'm talking about just the law of morality, the laws of the universe. If you are active duty, you have the ability to say no. You have the ability to turn down orders. I suggest you do so, because you will not be celebrated as a fucking hero. You will be seen as a piece of shit by all Americans, except your old fucks who are sitting in front of the TV watching Fox News.
Oof, he came out hot on that one. Iran is next. A lot going on in Iran. I might go circle back to Iran later. I'm not going to do the same stream as today. There's a lot going on in Iran. It's a matter of time. Now we're circling back to the same info. Jasmine Crockett, or what we got? Jasmine Crockett, we are going to run the country, asking for Americans. Can you run the one you were elected to run? Clearly, the president has decided that Congress is nothing more than a pesky accessory. This is about oil. My girl. Jasmine. So we got some representatives coming out. A lot are just shutting up. I would expect to see my whole timeline full of representatives right now, but a lot of unknowns. Breaking: Maduro was arrested before a single person in the Epstein files. Facts. Well, except for Epstein and Maxwell. Emergency protests is planned in Minnesota. Peace Action Coalition call for no war on Venezuela and ending in demand to the U.S. bombings. Demonstration is scheduled for Saturday, January 3rd at 2 p.m. in Minnehaha Avenue and Lake Street. Organizers say that action comes in response to escalating military pressure and threats towards Venezuela. Mercado Media will be live on the ground covering the protests as it unfolds, bringing real-time updates and first-hand reporting from the scene. Shout out to Mercado, my guy. Oh, look. Hey, Adam Kissinger got a hold of that that post I showed you guys earlier. A newly created Polymarket account invested over $30,000 yesterday in Maduro's exit. The U.S. then took Maduro into custody overnight, and the trader profited $400,000 in less than 24 hours. Insider trading is not allowed under prediction markets. It's encouraged. This does need to be investigated. I think that's it. I don't want to watch next show. Yeah, we're circling back around the barn now, guys. Around the barn, guys. I think that's all. I think that's all I got for you. I'm gonna play some before. I have a hard time doing this because I don't know why. Just my brain doesn't work that way. Before I go, at the Chunger Games, one word. At the Chunger Games, my gaming channel needs some love. If you haven't subscribed to my gaming channel, I need some love. It's growing rather slowly. It's because I do niche games like DayZ, a lot of DayZ, mostly DayZ. I play DayZ, but I could really use some more subs over there. It's a little slow on the growth, but you know, it's chill. I was playing from Val from Mariupol the other night. Played a little bit yesterday until I had to go away. I'm gonna play some more today. I might do another update video today. I might not. I've got my only day to do laundry today too. But if you could go over to the Chungo Games and throw me a subscription there, I would most appreciate that. Let's see what else. We've got Discord. My Discord. Join the Discord. There's a Discord channel. We have a Discord channel. Starting to pick up a little bit. Got quite a few people in there. Here's the Discord. That's the Discord. Also, consider becoming a member if you're not. Support the channel. And also, we have a Ukrainian fundraiser pinned in the top for the 108th Brigade. We are still fundraising for Ukraine. We're not going to stop. 108th Brigade. We have 2 battalions that are... they're 2 battalions. They separated in 2 battalions from the 103rd. They're restructuring, but we're helping them. Thank you for the sub. You will be number 150. So we are helping them get power banks and medical supplies. It's through Page in Kansas. It's a 501c3. You got suspended or banned from Twitter? Jesus. I've been suspended there. So yeah, we've got that going. So we've got gaming channel, Discord, Ukrainian fundraiser. Consider becoming a member to the channel. You get your cool little emojis here as well. And I think that might be all I have for you. Stay tuned. We have more news updates coming as well. I have some more info coming out, important stuff. We'll cover Iran too. I might do it later on tonight. I don't know. We'll find out where we go. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Thank you for tuning in and covering the Venezuelan snatch and grab of Maduro. Thanks for being here. Peace out. Here's your outro.
They wave their flags like they own the sky, shouting loud, but they don't know why. Books untouched, their minds run dry. Truth's a stranger, they pass right by. Oh, false flags flying high, empty hearts where the truth won't lie. They scream of love for the land they claim, but their wicked deeds bring only shame. But their wicked deeds bring only shame. But their wicked deeds bring only shame. They chant the words they barely know, hollow pride in a shallow show, pointing fingers where the winds don't blow, building walls where the rivers flow. Oh, false flags flying high, empty hearts where the truth won't their wicked deeds bring only shame. But their wicked deeds bring only shame. A patriot's heart should beat with grace, not with fists or a hate-filled face. If love's the seed, then let it grow, not in shadows, but where light will show. Oh, false flags flying high, empty hearts where the truth won't lie. They scream of love for the land they claim, but their wicked deeds bring only shame. Oh, false flags flying high, empty hearts where the truth won't lie. They scream of love for the land they claim, but their wicked deeds bring only shame. While their wicked deeds bring only shame. But their wicked deeds bring only shame.
Why would you think Michelle Obama's a man?
Well, do a little research. Just do a little research.
But that's like out there.
What's out there is the fact that her walking out in a skirt, and there's an obvious bulge where there shouldn't be one.
Another day.
Just run till you take your last breath. There's no time to sit around being lazy. Renegade junk is gonna grind out daisy. Survival schemes, raiding dreams like you don't care. Zombies scrubbing on some bodies like a nightmare. Grabbing loot in the spawn might just fight there. And the goons shooting at me, yeah, we're out there. Keep the feet dry, light a fire if you're crazy. Survivors out there shooting, yeah, that's day. They try to take my loot, but I'm fast and I'm stinky. Hearing footsteps in the woods, yeah, that's creepy. But I'm a wolf and all of you looking sheepy. Knock you one gone, now you feeling little sleepy. Waking up, your loot's gone, don't go crazy. Another day, another death, yeah, that's Daisy. Hear the bullets crack by your head, make you screech. Run, cover, keep your gun by your reach. Wear your armor and a helmet is what we preach. Or get your ass sent back to the beach. Clean your water, cook your food, wash your hands. Keep one eye on the bad guy and your friends. Watch for killers who shoot at you through a lens. But this is how the story always ends.